Hey Davante, hope all is well. Wanted to ask you what your recollections were of 2014 when Jordy set the 15-19, and if that, depending on how everything works out on Sunday, just what that record would mean to you to be able to eclipse that mark.
I don't have a crazy memory of it, honestly. I think I was just kind of just so used to him going out having those type of explosive games that would put him in that position. So I don't remember vividly where I was or, what I mean, them kind of announcing it or whatever because they didn't. I mean, even my catch thing, they didn't do a whole lot. So I don't. It wasn't a. I'm sure they didn't play like a video or something like what they could have done for Jordy. But yeah, at that point, I was just so used to seeing him make plays that I didn't really think a whole lot of it at that point. So obviously, looking back now, it was pretty special. I mean, I've been playing at the end of my eighth season now, and just now approaching, getting close to, being able to potentially have a share of that record. So it would mean a lot to be able to, eclipse that. But yeah, I mean, I've achieved a lot, so my entire legacy and my mental isn't riding on that, but it's definitely an honor to be mentioned with guys like Jordy for sure.
Matt Schneidman.
Did Randall lend you that jersey for your walk-in Sunday night, and how much of a boost do you think he can give you guys if he's back for the playoffs?
No, I actually had it made. I had his jersey made and a couple other guys early in the season. Just for a little surprise like that. And I mean, just having him back at practice has been just amazing. Having a guy like that, his leadership, his just his juice out there. You see the way that he works, and it's kind of it's contagious. So, he helps me with the younger guys just from when he's been here, from when he showed up. It's been just so much more relaxed for me. Just having more eyes, more veteran eyes on some of the guys, and just some of the things that he can teach. It's not like it gets exhausting for me, but it definitely makes my job easier when guys can just watch. A lot of times there's been a lot less questions, I feel like, this year because it's just so much of, demonstration based off what they see practice habits wise, the way the guy goes about his business, in the locker room or outside the building, whatever it is. So it's been amazing having him back. Looking forward to getting him back on the field.
MK Burgess.
Devontae, last year you said that you didn't know if there was something in the air at Ford Field that was causing you guys to have slow starts in the past. The past few games, it seems like you guys have had a little bit of an issue getting that offense started. So, as the last game of the regular season, what do you think you guys can do to make sure that doesn't happen against a Lions team that's hungry to end the season with a win?
Just be intentional. Come out, think about, watch the film, be critical about what we've done in the past, whether it be, recent games or what we've done against them, particularly at Ford Field, and just come out with some juice. I mean, that's really what it's about. If you got the juice and you come in, it's hard to get up for a 1 o'clock game. East Coast is not easy. So if you just come in, get ready, get your coffee, whatever it takes for whoever, and just kind of acknowledge that we haven't had the starts we wanted to lately, and especially in that field, and just come out and change it.
Jason Wilde.
Hey, Davante, how are you?
Great. How you doing?
Good. I'll admit that I'm risk averse in my personality. So can you explain to me why you think it's valuable to play in a game that doesn't affect your playoff seeding now, but playing in preseason, which I know is slightly different, but still there's risk without much reward. Why is it worth playing in this game to you and to Aaron and the guys that feel the need to play?
Because preseason is pointless. One, two, we haven't played any ball yet, so the start of my ball and all the practice reps and everything we're doing, that's risk enough. And at this point, I mean, we've been rolling for a full season. We got a bye at the first week of the playoffs, and I just don't feel, not that I don't feel comfortable, but I would feel more comfortable having. Obviously, we have the record, so that's one thing to play for, and it's minimal time, I would say, required, hopefully, to achieve that. So that's one part of it, but that's really the smallest part of it. The biggest part for me is just not being out 2 weeks before going into a heated playoff matchup. I just don't like having that type of time off going into a game like that. Obviously, we're gonna have a great team coming in to play us at Lambeau, so being as fresh as possible as far as, obviously being fresh legs-wise and all of that stuff, we want to be there, but just kind of having things fine-tuned a little bit, get out there on the grass a little bit, run around. Yeah, I'm just not thinking about it too much. Obviously, there's risk, but there's risk going to, across the street. So at this point, you can't run from it. If you're scared, go to church and just do what you got to do. And, yeah, we're not thinking too much about it. Just want to keep the wheels turning and get ready for playoffs.
Mark Daniels.
Hey, Davante, you got me?
Yeah, I got you. How you doing?
Good. Good to chat with you. Good to see you. Aaron talked last week about just the psychological lift it would be to see David, Jair, Z, Randall, Billy, the whole list is long, of guys, even in uniform, even if they're not playing and contributing a lot early on in the postseason push. Do you feel that this team is in a position, if some of those guys come back and really help, that there is an infusion of fresh air in your lungs that can carry you for 2 home games after Sunday?
Yeah, 100%. I think just like what I was saying with Randall, the rest of those guys, the same thing applies. We've leaned on those guys down the stretch for 3 years now, and some other guys like Dave and Randall a lot longer than that. So just seeing them and like I said before, having them on the field just kind of gives us a little extra juice, put a little bit more pep in a few guys' steps. Just like when 12's out there, or in the past, in OTAs when he wouldn't be there, you always notice a big difference when he would have that vet day versus when he come back the next day. Everybody's kind of flying around, just a little bit different, just seeing your guys out there, especially when they're big impact guys like that. So having them back, it'll be amazing. It's done a lot for the vibe of the locker room, just knowing that we can potentially be getting some of them, if not all of them, back. Yeah, we're all looking forward to it. Those guys have been working really hard to get back, and it's a process. So just kind of letting them take it as they need to be able to come back and contribute the way they did before they got hurt.
Steve McGargy.
Just wondering, you had already broken the catches record last year that you broke again last week. You'd gotten a share of the touchdown catches record for a single season last year. Going into this season, how important was it for you, if at all, to get that overall catches single season record as well? Was that something that was always on your mind, or was it only once you kind of got within striking distance this season that it became something you really wanted to chase?
Well, I'm not. I don't think about it as chasing it. I think about, like I said, anytime I set goals for myself as far as numbers, it's just to hold myself to a standard as far, if I go out and catch 20 touchdowns, and that means that more often than not, that's going to equate to wins. So that's kind of my mentality on it. And as we get closer, obviously it's going to get more real. And it's something that's closer than it's ever been right now. So it'll be great to achieve that. It'll mean a lot to me, and just to be a part of history like that is a special thing. But like I said, it's not something that if for whatever reason, everybody wanted, we just had to be shut down this week. I wouldn't run home crying about it. But being 20 yards away or 20 whatever yards away is, you don't see that every day. I think Calvin needed like 180 yards for the receiving title in the last game, and he went out and got that. So I like to think I can get 20 without too much trouble. So it's a special company I'm in, and I'm definitely blessed to be in the position I'm in.
Bill Huber.
Hey, Davante, several weeks ago I asked you about touchdowns in the red zone. I think you had 3 at the time, and you half jokingly said you could get to 20. You're probably not going to get there, but you got a crap load since then. What's changed the last several weeks that has gotten you so freed up down there?
I don't know, man. I don't really know exactly. They've been doing. I think it's just been the commitment to just getting the play made. At the end of the day, I think they've done a lot of different things. Obviously, Baltimore got in that game, and they had a little interesting coverage. As I demonstrated on my phone, they had some interesting coverages demonstrated that time. But we just kind of committed and said, hey, I like the matchup, and we've also gotten some matchups that we didn't really expect. Against the Browns to be 1-on-1 at number 3, and then be 1-on-1 at number 2 on back-to-back scores. Like we weren't anticipating that. So as soon as we see it, we just we seize the opportunity, and we haven't really missed on too many of them, which is the biggest thing. I think the execution has been really, really high this year. And capitalizing on those few ops that we do get. So a little bit of just the hunger, 12 just saying, hey, F it, Tay's over there somewhere, and I'm going to just kind of toss it and just coming out with the play.
Brian Wood.
Hey, Davante, being in the press box on Sunday, it seemed like a new milestone or record was announced every play, but one of them really caught my attention. You're only the sixth receiver ever in NFL history with 600 catches, 8,000 yards, and 70 touchdowns in your first 8 seasons. I don't know if that's been brought to you yet, but the other five are Rice, Moss, Harrison, Calvin, and Fitzgerald. So it's a pretty lofty company, obviously. I'm curious if the Hall of Fame is something that you've has been on your mind at this point in your career. You have the potential to go for that, and if that's a factor, maybe along with the money, that you'll have to consider this offseason, that pursuit, given the nature of your position, how important it is to be linked up with a good quarterback.
Yeah, man. It's obviously important. Well, one, just to be mentioned with those type of guys, I definitely recognize all those names you said. Those are some pretty amazing players, and it's definitely something that's on my mind. I mean, that's where you got to start, right? I mean, I was saying it since 2017 that I feel like I'm the best receiver in the league, and, it gets put on Bleacher Report, Gridiron, or this or that, and everybody always talks about how they want to talk, and then now it's come to a point where, yeah, people can argue and have their favorites or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's become a real thing. So it all starts with the person who's in control, and I kind of drive that bus, and that's definitely a thought that's on my mind. It's not everything. I don't take the field every single snap like, oh, I'm a Hall of Famer. Like, it's not like that. I'm not King Kong beating on my chest like I've kind of alluded to before, but it's more so just the mentality. Like, those dudes, everybody who has a gold jacket, they were a dog, and they obviously thought about that at some point. It wasn't like 5 years after they were done playing, that thought just popped into their head. Like, they were playing like it and feeling like it, and that's where it got to start. So I don't really see a whole lot of differences between myself and some of those guys that you said, other than, they have an extensive resume, and, I'm still working on mine. So that's definitely something that's in my mind. And, as far as the quarterback part, I've played with the best quarterback to ever play this game. So it's been an amazing experience for me. I like to think that I'm not the type of guy that needs to lean on a quarterback, but having a guy like him has certainly made my job easier and put me in a position to where, if I didn't have a great quarterback, I'd be able to go out and still make some catches and go ball out. But to do it at the level that I have, that mixed with winning a lot of games, I'm sure that has to factor in at the end of the day when it's all said and done. They'll look at the team that he was on. It'll help being a Green Bay Packer and, hopefully having a Super Bowl ring, before it's all said and done. So that's the type of things that I'm thinking about. And, I definitely entertain that thought. It's not something I talk to other people about, but it's always in the back of my mind with, when I take the field. It just helps me keep that standard. Every time I get out there, I don't care. I have 70 yards and 2 touchdowns, whatever. If something didn't look how I wanted to, I'm always thinking about, what would a Hall of Famer's tape look like and how would he feel about his performance. So that's definitely something that's on my mind. And, to me, we could say what we want, but I feel like it's a matter of time for sure. I just got to keep working, keep putting it together, man, keep stacking. And like I said, put a ring on my finger, and, we'll see how everything looks when it's all said and done.
Cody Krupp.
Hey, Davante, if the game is at all in balance on Sunday, do you expect to play all 4 quarters, or have you and Coach LaFleur and Rodgers and the guys, have you kind of set, for up 3 touchdowns going in the 4th, or, what's kind of your expectations for Sunday when it comes to how the game flows?
Well, I'm not sure. We haven't really ironed out, put a exact plan together, but I don't plan to play the whole game. I wouldn't think we would do that. But, it's not about going out there and playing the whole game. And, for me, it's just, like I said, I want to keep the wheels turning, keep making deposits and doing what we got to do, and just sitting out. I found that when you're not playing, too, if they told me early in the week that I wasn't going to play this game at all, it's just harder in general to lock in to, in meetings. A lot of it doesn't really go for you. Like with my toe, you come to meetings and it's like that 4 weeks I'm just sitting there and I'm obviously taking notes, but just mentally tapping into it, it's a little bit more tough. So I like to just plan to be out there, and even if, pregame, whatever, we talk about it and come up with a plan and say, hey, I feel good about you playing X amount of plays, or, until halftime or whatever it is, just to have my mind geared to go. I just don't want to log off at all. So part of it is that, and also the physical part of it too. So we'll see what we come up with. But to answer your question, I don't plan on playing the whole game. But if that's what my coach wanted me to do, then I would have zero issue with that.
We'll do two more. Jason Wilde.
Hey, Davante, you've been obviously really good with us all year about all kinds of topics. Maybe not as good as you were when you were showing us your phone to Spoon's question about the coverage. But one of the things you've been great about is talking about other guys. And I know last week you talked about Allen to some degree. Aaron made a comment yesterday with McAfee, though, that he saw kind of a change after the Rams game or during the Rams game with Allen and that his confidence was better. As you've observed him as the leader of that room and knowing him as well as you do, have you seen something change for him during the course of the season? Because he's obviously really helped you guys out in a big way of late.
Absolutely. Well, with Allen, he's come so far from when he first got here. So for him, I know he's been really proud of himself, and we've also, we've been very proud of him on our end as well. The thing with him is what I noticed maybe about around the Rams time or maybe like a week before that. Myself, Vrabes, we all started to kind of turn things up a notch, just kind of feeling, it's starting getting into November football and, heading into the end of the year. We all turned it up a notch as far as like how hard we were being on people. Because obviously you know what I demand for myself. You see the way I practice. Everything. I just know that everything's all attached. So if you go out and you finish to the end zone and you get that mentality, like that helps build everything. It helps you as a man, helps you with your routes. You just being a more consistent person. It shows the coaches, the rest of your teammates, everything, just a lot about you if you're a consistent guy like that. So we started to not crash down, but come down on guys a little bit harder just to push it and see what guys are really made of and how consistent and how much they can really demand from themselves around that Rams time. And a couple guys, it was a little bit of a shock to a few guys, but they know where we come from with it, and they know, we care so much about them, care so much about how our room and our team looks. So that's really what it's all about. And Allen kind of responded. He was a little quiet about it at first, but then I saw it like, I would just peep. I felt the energy. It was a little, you get somebody on you, you're a grown man. It's tough to take that just for what it is at all times, and that's not really my type of style to just be super hard on guys all the time. But experiencing what I've experienced and, some of the things that I've come across in this league, I know what certain guys can take, and Allen's one of those guys that you can kind of get in him a little bit more to get a point across or just to get a little bit more out of him. So I wanted him to keep pushing. I know he had come a long way, but I wanted him to keep pushing. I want him to keep evolving and think about everything as it matters. So his mentality over the course of this year has definitely been shaped and is sharpened a lot from last year, and you can see it in just the small things and jog-throughs and walk-throughs that we do. You can kind of see he's working on something with everything he's doing. That's my biggest thing is I talk about with the wideouts. There's things you do in the offseason, there's drills and all this. They always ask me for drills, and I'm like, go run routes and run full-speed routes because you do all these drills. I don't want you to be out there doing stuff that ain't going to translate to the game and help you as a football player. We play football. We don't go put a bunch of drills on Instagram to look cool. We play football, and that's what I do. I don't share a lot of what I do behind the scenes because I like to think that it shows that the proof is in the pudding. It's all in the film. So I talked to him about that. I'm like, you just have to be consistent with every single thing you do. And ever since we kind of had that talk, and we actually talked after the game in the locker room, and it was a pretty heartfelt conversation there too, where he kind of just thanked me for the way that I've been and, the things that I've kind of instilled in him. And it really made me a little emotional because it caught me off guard, one, and you could see how genuine it was and that there was a true appreciation for, just the type of hard coaching and hard love that we can give because, and at the end of the day, if it's a guy that's not able, that's not something that I would even think to do. You don't come down and make anything worse for a guy who's not able, but to see the evolution. I've never seen a guy get better at football so much as what he has since when he first got here. In the league at least. You can obviously grow from high school to being in the NFL, but when he first arrived here to where he is now, I haven't seen that type of growth from any player. So just seeing that is made me want to continue to press and keep pushing him to get better, just to maximize this thing, man, because we're not going to be together forever. I'm in year almost 9 going in, so who knows what the future holds. So I just want to leave guys with the very most that I can, to just allow them to maximize this thing, because that's what it's about. It's an experience. I don't like calling it a career. This is just a long experience, and it's only as long as you make it personally. So he's done a lot, and I'm really proud of him, and I'm really excited to see the evolution continue.
And last one, Bill Huber.
Hey, Davante, I apologize for the question because I know you're in the middle of a playoff drive and all that stuff, but there was a report by NFL Network earlier in the week that you might end up getting franchise tagged. I guess how would you react to that if that's how this transpires?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to answer that safely right now. So we'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. I'll just say that.